Gothicophobia? What the hell is that?
Gothicophobia, noun. A progressive stress-induced disorder marked by an aversive psychological response to highly optimized or ethically vacant Gothic gameplay, typically triggered by prolonged exposure to a Gothicopath. Gothic player exhibiting extreme behaviors such as persistent fear of missing.
Hold on, that sounds like me. Oh well, time to start a new game again.
Oh shit, here we go again.
There you are again. Again!
I'm a fan of gaming challenge videos and regularly watch stuff like just background noise. Me being clearly bored, but still eager to pick up some new skills, it was only a matter of time before I give it a shot myself. So I invite you to join me as I become the ultimate
Gothicopath.
and chase down the maximum possible XP in the underappreciated classic. What are the rules? Well, more or less follow those from Zaradok's spreadsheet. Zaradok who? Oh, he's the legend who streamed max XP challenge 6 years ago. Damn, time flies. 480p, unmodded Gothic, absolute peak quality Gothic content. Sadly no commentary, so you're watching it like, what the f. Anyway, the most important rules are no infinite sources of XP, because otherwise this challenge is pointless. And no major glitches, whatever that means exactly. However, we'll bend a few other rules, primarily by pocketing as much gold as possible and converting it into betsies for extra XP.
Here's 100 gold pieces. Here's 100 gold pieces. Here's 100 gold pieces.
Gold is limited resource as long as we don't exploit infinite gold sources. For example, repeatedly beating up NPCs that generate items.
Nothing to be had there.
Like blacksmiths who produce for steel. Therefore, I find the reasoning behind this rule unreasonable. Going for max gold to buy as many sheep as possible may not sound that challenging until you realize how painfully tedious it is. You technically cannot consume any items that can be sold for gold. No scrolls, no potions, no plants, no stone tablets, no ammunition. Also, can't kill creatures until you can loot all their trophies. There is no gold left to spend at Innos shrines, for finds, stat boosting goodies, and probably more. Well, in theory, I could take back all the gold I spent on sheep from Pepe and simply never spend the recovered coins on betsies again. But that would be too easy. I must suffer. Still, not too much, it's 2025 and I'd like to enjoy this at least a little. I'll be using a few quality of life plugins. Special mention goes to the one that inspired this whole run. Free teleports, which basically lets us set custom waypoints and travel between them even across Khorinis, the Valley of Mines or Jakandar. Thanks to that we can be
Pay me my wages.
bleeding Onar dry, without wasting time traveling back and forth. Without further ado, we pick up an old stone tablet for Vatorus, equip a basic bong stick, put on a deadlift belt, and our journey begins. Our first goal is to become a mercenary with as little XP as possible, because the less XP we gain now, the more honest wages we can collect later. Quite ironic. We'll be skipping enemies and only doing what will become unavailable after joining a guild. For example, like entering Khorinis as an herbalist, which requires learning a little tip from Lester first. I later find out this doesn't actually need to be done beforehand, but let's pretend it does for the sake of the existing footage. Down in Lester's Valley, there is a wolf chasing a rat and both run straight into Lester, which leads to unwanted casualties. The trick to preventing any is to approach Lester quickly and distract him with some boring small talk until both critters run past and out of range. By this point, the rat should manage to escape safely. Whether the wolf will bump into Lester on the way back, well, it usually doesn't.
Do you have any suggestions how I could get into town?
You need to tell Zardas about the shadow.
Anyway, once we've listened to those two dialogues, we've got all the info we need and we scram. We emerge from the cave almost unscathed, just grazed by a goblin, then head back to Zardas' tower and start climbing the rocks nearby, looking for a way to reach Lobert's farm. Yeah, I know, I could just take a road like a normal human being, but trust me, I actually couldn't. And not just because I am a nutjob, allegedly human being. I was setting up what's probably the most pointless shenanigan in the history of this game, and to pull it off I had to go around. Or so I thought. It's already done anyway, okay? Please don't copyright strike me, it's just a 5-second Tony Hawk series reference. Anyway, enough rambling, we hop down the steep rocks and head up the road toward Cavalor. There is just one minor nuisance on the way, a young wolf we can't kill yet. Thankfully the AI is not exactly brilliant and getting it stuck on the terrain is enough to lose the tail. We pass the bandit on the left and the dumbest shenanigans begin. Unfortunately, we'll have to use an unethical amount of safe scamming to pull them off. See, what we are after is we want to chat with Cavaloran, keep goblins alive to kill them as a merc later, and chat with the Bandit by the stairs, where Cavalorn is already active in the background and ready to kill the goblins. The first point is sort of easy. Reloading the game seems to confuse Cavalorn enough for us to have a quick chat with him, in the middle of goblins.
Trouble?
Understandable, sir.
Please take your time.
Yes, I said no major glitches, and resetting aggro via self-scamming like that is questionable. I don't care. The nature of the challenge forces my hand. Anyway, back to Cavalorn. We need to bring this subject up,
Interesting armor you're wearing.
as this sets a variable that kicks off the Ring of Water questline. If you wonder where I got the scripts from, it's all in this wonderful GitHub repo. Every now and then, I'm going to show the scripts relevant to whatever I'm doing, because I thought someone may find that interesting. But if you don't understand a thing, don't worry, it's not that important. Ah, damn it, I digress again. Anyway, we grab some free goodies from Cavalorn. The knife he gives grants a 100 weapon bonus that will come in handy later.
I need better equipment.
I can give you a wolf knife.
Time for the crazy part. We still need to talk to the Bandit by the stairs and spare the goblins for later. Cavalorn is of course hell-bent on murdering them and completely ignores any attempts to provoke a fight with him. So sparing the goblins sounds impossible, right? Well, I thought so too, until I had an idea. During combat, Cavalorn occasionally backsteps towards Zardos' tower, putting more distance between him and the Bandit. So I figured, if I save scam enough times, maybe I can gradually push the whole party far enough away that when I rank back to the Bandit, the game will despawn either Cavalorn, the Bandits, or both. And since I'll still be in the area where they are supposed to spawn, they won't respawn, and I'll be free to chat with the Bandit in peace. Also, since I promised to help Cavalorn with the Bandits, he's a party member now. His kills counts as mine, and I get the XP pop-ups. That's how I'll know if the goblins died while I was running back to the Bandit, and if they do, I reload. And hopefully, eventually I stop getting these pop-ups, because the game no longer processes the party in the background. It's such a terrible idea. I had to make it work. What you're seeing here is obviously redacted. Behind every reload, there were many more I cut out. Let me speed this thing up before you fall asleep. Oh, and small confession. I didn't actually do the math to see if sparing these two goblins for now will even earn me an extra wage later. 60 gold coins, by the way. But hey, content, at least you watch me suffer for it, right? I still haven't explained how XP ties into Onar's wages. I will cover that later today. For now, just take the following for granted. Less XP now, more gold from Onar later. More gold is more sheep is more XP. Less is more. Anyway, let's slow down a bit. By this point this surely is far enough, so time to save scam in the other direction. We take the side pass because there is a trigger that spawns 3 more goblins when we cross the path between Zardos' tower and the fire camp for the first time. And I don't want to drag the goblins behind. Would complicate things. There's also a reason why we went around through the mountains earlier. By this point, the XP pop-ups have stopped. The plan works, so it's time to talk to the Bandit. Did I even mention why we want to talk to him? We need to learn Dexter's name from him, so we can enter Dexter's camp peacefully before it's Cord who tells us Dexter's name.
Dexter, claim that you know the guy.
It might not make any sense now, but hopefully it will make sense later.
10 gold pieces for the name of the guy who raised the bounty.
Dexter.
I just realized I haven't got 10 gold pieces left.
What?
Okay, go, back to Lover's farm. Still 0 XP. Perfect.
I'm supposed to pull turnips?
You gotta be kidding.
Pulling turnips can actually wait, but we must talk to Malif and Vino because some of their stuff needs to be started without having a guild.
There's another of those scummy beasts.
Right, small issue. The first time we talk to Malif, the game inserts a young wolf next to him. In order to have a peaceful chat, we can nap until midnight and have Malif come to the barn though.
I was attacked by bandits in the mountains.
We need to mention to Malif that we've been pestered by the bandits near Cavalorn, as this unlocks a dialogue that will reward XP once we take that trash out later.
Can I help you? I'm looking for work.
Next we talk to Vino, who's banking in the same room. He'll only ask for a bottle of wine, 50 XP on delivery, if we are guildless and haven't taken Lobert's clothes yet. What's this ship doing here? Ah right, the wolf that materializes after talking to Malif probably spooked it. Technically it could eat a ship or two, but didn't happen to me. I checked. Next step, we snatch Lobert's clothes. Seriously, what same person actually pays for them though? Anyway, no coins for now. We've got a beef incoming. We've got to safe scam our way to Greg before the wolves get to him first. I'm sure everyone who played knows what wolves I'm talking about, but in case you don't, here you go. The plan is to reach Greg, lure him away from the wolves, and hand over the farm's clothes we just stole.
Say, you'd probably like to earn a few gold coins, wouldn't you? Find a way to get past the city guard.
Why not?
Time to distract Greg with some beef.
Just you wait, you son bitch!
We drag his pirate arse across the field, hoping the wolf's pathfinding breaks. Which of course it does, eventually. It's a Piranha Bytes game, after all. Might have taken a few reloads, I kindly edited out, but hey, it worked, and that's what matters. Why all this hassle, you ask? Good question. Let me fast forward a bit before I answer. So, we can only give Greg clothes before he moves to Arlen's Tavern. The script that teleports him is triggered by telling Lars that Vatras sent us, which unlocks an alternative guild admission questline, you know, extra XP. We obviously cannot start it if we are already in a guild. Anyway, we are far enough, wolves are safe, time to take a punch to the face. This will cool him off. He can search us all he wants. We are completely broke.
The bastard doesn't even have any gold on him.
Come on, man, we have a pirate to catch.
About the city guards. They should let you pass if you're wearing these farmers' clothes.
Alright, we are done with all the tasks in this area. We can proceed to Khorinis via usual rock climbing next to the lighthouse. We'll just need to do some zigzagging around the monsters to stay alive. In Khorinis, let's meet Vatras first to kick off the Ring of Water questline that we worked so hard for.
What must I do in order to join the ring?
You should talk about this to Laris.
I must be crazy. Did you swim here?
Yep, crazy.
Vatras said you could help me join the militia.
Martin can do something for you.
Hey!
Crap, bumped into Moe. We can't fight him yet.
Tactical retreat!
Works.
I've always got an open ear for news.
All right, 5 gold pieces.
Is there any special work to be had around here?
Talk to Nagur.
We don't have to get this info yet, but interestingly, a commented line in the script suggests the devs considered making it guildas only.
Laris sent me.
So?
I want to join the militia.
Someone busies himself with the crates here, and when I come back the next morning, something is missing.
I'll watch over your provisions crates tonight.
Now that this quest is started, we can finish it much later after we've joined a guild. While we are steering the port, we yoink 2 old coins for Vasily and board the Esmeralda for some Molrat fat. Normally, we aren't allowed on the ship at this point in the game, but the brave paladins of Myrtana were so flabbergasted by a half-naked man with a giant knife leaping onto the deck from a nearby crane, literally made for it, that they completely forgot their orders to deal with trespassers. So don't you call it an exploit, it's a perfectly legitimate explanation. Next we visit the lower city to exchange some gossip with Regis.
Has anything exciting happened?
They robbed Bospor.
Who did you fight with?
Valentino.
Well, actually there is no rush talking to him, but this will come in handy in the future episodes, if I ever get to make them. Leaving a like increases the chances. Next we loot Matteo's storage, paying attention to take the citizens' clothes one at a time. Stacked items sell only for a price of 1. Classic scam. Don't fall for it. Having just emptied Matteo's goods, we do the only right thing and head back to the barracks to turn ourselves in. Or not, it's early morning. We are after 2% bonus from Wolfgar.
Out and about so early?
Let's begin with the training.
As well as spending our first 10 learning points for training one-handed combat.
Is there a faster way to join you?
Find the leaders of Thieves Guild and hunt them down.
Oh, by the way, this quest we must also start before we join a guild. We sneak into the militia bedroom and grab Onar's wife's plate. We'll use it as a leverage for a better wage later.
Get out of here! Out! Yeah, get out!
No guild, no gold. Darren, please toss me some coin because...
I am poor.
Oh, did you know that talking to Lothar
Halt!
moves Lester to Xerxes' tower if you've already discussed the shadow with him?
I've got to go.
As well as relocates Cantor to a bench in Khorinis? Now you do? Remember when I asked you to pretend we absolutely need to ask Lester to help us find a way into Khorinis? We don't. I messed up. I convinced myself one can only chat with the gate guards if they stop you first to assess if you're a bum or not.
Halt!
What is it?
You aren't getting in here, my boy.
Why not?
Look in the way you...
If we already have a guild, we are immediately clear to enter, and the script sets a variable, and that would block the dialogue to pretend to be an herbalist, and we would lose some XP. However, turns out we can have a chat with the guard outside of approaching the gate, even as a mercenary. Just sneak up behind him and don't get stopped before that. Who would have thought?
I'm bringing some herbs.
But since I didn't think of that way before...
I'm bringing some herbs for Constantino.
I incorrectly assumed we have to get that XP before joining a guild. So all that tryharding with goblins only to blow 100 XP here. Whatever, at worst we lose 1 ship. I was already too far to reload the game. Anyway, enough rambling. We can put some honors at last and head to Armor's farm.
What?
We pay Micah
Mika.
the protection money.
Here's your 10 coins.
I could have waited until chapter 3, but oh well, hot fingers. We evade wolves and climb up a nearby ledge to claim a Ring of Force. That's going to be one of the few sources of extra strength because we are going to be strapped for LPs for a very long time.
What do you want?
That's none of your business.
We actually must knock Buster's thief out now so we can ask him about Sentenza's tip and gain 50 extra gold coins per Shadow Beast horn in chapter 3. Moreover, to join the mercenaries we need to earn enough reputation points among them. 1 point is granted for winning 3 duels, and since we want as little XP as possible, we have to pick the targets that give the least. Buster, Fester and Dart.
What about this Sentenza?
He'll squeeze gold out of you.
Thanks for the hint.
Worth anything to you?
5 gold pieces.
Trivia time. This script doesn't take any gold out of our pocket. Oh shoot. I realized I forgot to take the Ore amulet from Vatras. Oh well, back to Khorinis it is.
Is there anything that could help me with my search?
I shall give you this Ore amulet.
Then I had a sudden flash of inspiration.
I have developed Spell of Oblivion.
Alright, I'll try out that spell.
We'll take this quest on the go, but this is not why we are here.
Show me your wares.
Well, by transforming to Sheep Scroll. This innocent item allows us to skip directly to chapter 2 and get a bit more chapter-dependent XP from a couple of dialogues that are normally available until we've joined a guild in chapter 1. What the hell is chapter-dependent XP? Well, there is a variable called XP ambient in the script, increasing by 50 each chapter. Some quests use it, making determining max XP more convoluted. And yes, I know I am breaking this rule. However, the impact will be fairly low, and I'm doing this just for the memes. Ah, since we're about to enter chapter 2, we need to hear the prophecy for chapter 1 from, what was his name again?
Abu Jin ibn Jadir ibn Omar Khalid bin Haji al-Sharidi.
Right. Now we're good, but before using a scroll, we have to remember to unequip any weapons with skill bonuses, or we'll run into a glitch where bonuses become permanent.
No beasts in here!
But...
What a bloody stupid beast!
So rude. Turns out the devs did anticipate this little ruse and gave the guards cutting-edge sheep detection tech. Unfortunately, they forgot to install any actual brains, so a bit of running around at obstacles is all it takes to leave these dum-dums in the dust.
I have already heard of you. Dragons, tell me, why should I believe a word you say? Bring me proof.
How am I supposed to get across the pass?
I shall give you the key to the gate.
We actually must transform back into a human before asking Hagen this question, otherwise the key to the pass goes into Ship Inventory, and we wouldn't be able to open the door to the pass, and yes, I did that before. Chapter 2. What do we do next? Ah, right, guild.
Hey you give me a ring that increases your life energy, and for that I will get you a report on what's going on with the ore.
This quest can only be started in chapter 2, by the way. One small side effect of skipping chapters that I forgot to consider is that new monsters will spawn, and since I haven't killed anything yet, they might start clashing. And of course, turns out there are 2 spots like that, where new wolves appear and start killing rats around. Therefore, we are taking very unusual route to Onar's farm, through Niklas Plateau, Akil's farm, and behind Orland's tavern. All of this just to prevent monsters from appearing in the game and murdering each other behind the scenes. In addition to wolves, we gotta be cautious around Earl's hut because there are 3 new goblins that will engage mercenaries if we approach from the wrong side. At the farm we deal with Fester first.
We could attack that nest together.
We need to duel him, but we can't yet because that would block the option to attack the nest, and we have to attack the nest because this spawns 5 more field raiders outside. XP. So how do we attack the nest without killing anything? Well, shenanigans of course. From 5 AM to 7 PM, every other hour, Fester practices his whatever that earth slashing is, away from the farm and closer to the nest. This is where we step into the nest. I step in. Alone, without Fester. We lure the first 2 fielders out to the left of the nest, climb up the rock, circle back in, pull the third one out. We take our party of 3 for a pleasant stroll to the end of the road. Once we reach the road, we run to drop aggro and towards Fester, but not too fast. Our holy trinity needs to stay close, or the game will move them right back to the nest. Next we attack.
Let's attack the nest.
We like with Fester. We attack the nest. The field raiders are currently chilling, walking down the road, no sense of urgency or anything. The nest is empty.
Let's go back.
And finally we run out and pull the field raiders away from the nest so Fester doesn't kill them.
What about our agreement?
And congratulations, we have just unlocked the dialogue to spawn more field raiders without killing any.
Your hide could do with another tanning.
At last we can thrash this scammer. He promised us gold for helping him. We emptied the nest, didn't we?
Suit yourself. Search me then.
Next we lose our pride and let Sentenza take 50 gold coins as this buys his vote. And we're gonna get our money back later.
Doing alright?
Saying hello to Wolf gives us another vote.
I am strong enough.
I said I am strong enough.
Nah, we aren't strong enough. But as long as we don't beat Rod, we can take the bet in Chapter 3. Similarly, we can postpone Jarvis' quest.
I want to become a mercenary.
Beat up a few of Silvio's boys.
We just need to express to him our interest in joining the Mercs first.
I want to join you.
Talk to Torloff. He'll put you to the test.
So, what'll it be?
Let me collect the rent.
We chicken out and choose collecting Sekop's rent for our test. It gives less XP than dealing with Banger's militia.
I want to join Lee's people.
Bring me a few swampweed reapers and you got my vote.
We can squeeze some free stocks from Bodo and Dar.
Give me that weed or else I'll knock it out of you.
And then we snitch on Dar as per usual.
I know Dar took your weed.
I'll flatten him.
We actually have to let Cypher flatten Dar, because the script that runs whenever NPC goes unconscious sets a relevant variable if the victim is Dar and the perpetrator is Cypher, and this is our only chance to get these two to fight against each other. That variable enables the afterfight dialogue where we get chapter dependent XP that we are gonna take as late as possible, just before Cypher goes dragon hunting. No, the loot is mine. As soon as Dar gets up, we knock him down again for good measure. This should win us the last duel and get us another vote, but sometimes the game doesn't count it. Best to run it by Torloff to be safe.
At any rate, you want some fair duels already.
Here's a few stocks for you.
Refers delivered, vote is secured. Remember the shenanigans with Cavalorn and the Bandit? Well, it's finally time to pay Dexter a visit. We need to do that before bringing up the Ring of Water with Cord, because that's when the script sets a variable that will block some chapter-dependent XP when meeting Dexter for the first time.
Oh,
Dexter!
Well, I guess you know the boss.
Look who's here.
Thanks to already being in Chapter 2, we get a mythical 50 XP extra. Some of you might now be thinking, why not continue to Chapter 3 without the guild, and get another additional 50 XP extra? Well, it won't work. When we are transitioning to Chapter 3, the game checks if we are a mercenary explicitly, and adds mercenary exclusive content, so overall, we will be losing XP if we are continuing without a guild. Anyway, time to bring up the whole Ring of Water thing.
What do you know about the Ring of Water?
Talk to Cord.
I've heard that you belong to the Ring of Water. Help me with the test and everything.
That's easy, but you're going to have to do something for me in return. You're going to find Patrick for me.
We agree to help Cord, but only to get an additional quest for extra XP. We're gonna deal with our trial personally right now. Cord's quest we can complete long after we become a mercenary.
You're several weeks behind. Pay your rent at last.
Or I'll bash in your teeth.
He tripped.
See, that wasn't so hard.
Oh, Balthazar. Right. I must not forget about him.
Maybe I should talk to Bengar.
The Forbidden Pastures quest we intend to complete in Chapter 5 because Chapter dependent XP, but there's one gotcha we must remember. At least one of his sheep must survive until then, or the quest is soft-locked. And last but not least, Bronco, who can only be threatened with mercs if we have no guild.
If you want to go ambling across my land, you'll pay me 5 gold coins.
Here's your money. There's this guy who demands a toll from every passerby.
That's Bronco. He does whatever he wants.
Maybe I can help you, but I want more money.
Maybe 50?
Bronco's afraid of the mercenaries.
I guess I'll have to tell Onar.
Anything but the mercenaries. Here, I'll even give you all my gold.
And that was another unethical 50 XP extra thanks to impersonating a sheep. Overall, we made 100 XP extra in exchange for 25 gold coins. Good deal! I don't think we can squeeze anything more from this trick, but if I missed anything, let me know in the comments. We need 5 more points in 100 combat to reach fighter level, so we'll swing by Buster for some training. That should be enough to impress Cord and earn his vote.
I want to become a mercenary.
Have you gotten better by now?
I'm not so bad.
Finally back to Torloff to complete our test, and we should be good to join the mercenaries.
I collected the rent from Sekop.
You can start with us at any time.
I'm ready to join you.
Then go see Onar now.
So how about my pay?
50 gold pieces.
We cannot negotiate any better pay now, and in fact it can only get worse if we know him before.
Sounds alright.
But this is where the game starts tracking our XP as a mercenary for the purpose of Onar's wages. Well, technically we aren't mercenary yet, but this is about to change.
I'm ready to join you.
Here's probably how I should finally explain how Onar's wages work.
Pay me my wages.
This is the script, and there is a bunch of if else nonsense. The first if checks if the hero is a dragon hunter. Onar doesn't see dragons as a threat to his farm, so of course he's not paying a bunch of slackers to hunt them.
I pay for mercenaries, not dragon hunters.
Why would he? It's not like his farm is made entirely of flammable material and dragons are like 5 minutes away in the valley, right? The next Elsif is tied to Turlov's Chapter 2 quest, basically the trial you don't pick, in our case dealing with Bengar's militia. It is time limited, completed within a day, or kiss your paycheck goodbye. And not just goodbye for a few weeks, as our employer claims. No, it's gone forever. Remember kids, landlords are scamlords. The following Elsif though is actually reasonable. If you owe any fines to the farm, no pay until that's settled. The next Elsif is there just to make sure the hero gets paid at most once a day. Pretty boring stuff, nothing snarky to say about that one. But the one after that, you either show up to Onar every single day to collect your gold, or he just assumes you slacked off the whole time. Doesn't matter if you clear half the map in the meantime, you don't check in, you get nothing that day. No show, no dough. Finally, running out of excuses to avoid paying, Onar pulls out one last trick. Have you earned over 200 XP since the last check-in? No? Then you leave empty-handed. No second chances. The scamlord doesn't believe in them. You only check in once a day. Exactly 200 XP or less? Oh no, that's not enough. Unacceptable. No pay. Try harder tomorrow. And now if you'll excuse him, he's got a comfy armchair to get back to. But if you have earned over 200 XP, he reluctantly cuffs up whatever was agreed on.
Welcome aboard.
It's official, we're a level 2 mercenary, a true WEM champion. Uh-oh, I've summoned the nerdbird. Brace yourself for some long rambling.
The plan was to join the mercenaries with as little XP as possible. We have 2200. Is that the minimum? Not quite. The idiot player grabbed 100 XP early for Constantino herbs. Is 2100 the real minimum?
Okay, I can't do that voice. Well, to get the 100 XP from Court's approval, you need 30% in melee weapon skill. One-handers have the most early game bonuses, Wolfguard gives 2% and Knife adds 3%. And two-handers suck anyway. You start at 10% and with those bonuses you reach 15%. To hit 30, you need to spend 15 learning points, which requires level 2. That's at least 1500 XP right there. So, to avoid missing Court's XP, you'll hit at least 1600 before joining a guild. Joining the mercs gives another 400, so the absolute minimum is around 2000. Still less than 2100, so yeah, maybe there is another 100 XP I could have postponed somewhere, but whatever. As far as I'm concerned, we did well enough, especially since this was never going to be a true max XP run. What? How dare you? Clickbait! No. RNG. NPC inventories are randomized when the world first loads, as this is when most NPCs are inserted into it. Take Pepe, for instance. His script definition calls a function bcreateAmbientInf. That rolls a number from 0 to 6, and calls another function, based on NPC guild, in this case farmer, to assign one of the 7 possible inventory sets based on the drawn number. When you start a new game, this process runs for pretty much every NPC in Khorinis that you can meet in Chapter 1, roughly 183. That's a ton of simultaneous, independent dice rolls, so good luck reloading for the most valuable outcome. Might as well grab a lottery ticket while you are at it and win the jackpot. Monsters like goblins, orcs and demons also drop random loot, but theirs is generated on death, so in theory you could reload after killing each one to farm the best possible drop. Goblins, for example, have about a 1% chance to drop a silver ring, 1 in 100 reloads, per goblin. I think I'll pass. Anyway, the total number of coins and therefore XP from sheep will vary. Maybe there is a way to force a perfect RNG seed? I mean, I'm already using the Union patch with plugins, might as well make a plugin to control RNG, but screw that. End of story. Now back to the actual gameplay. As I mentioned earlier, the game starts tracking XP earned as a mercenary right after you finish negotiating with Onar. So the 400 XP we got for joining is already enough to get paid tomorrow. Well earned.
Pay me my wages.
Oh well, 50 gold pieces.
I feel like we deserve a raise though. Ah, Maria's plate.
I have a golden plate here. Would this be yours?
Yes.
What about my reward?
How much is my husband paying you?
50 gold pieces.
That's not enough.
What?
We got exactly 200 XP for that, just 1 point short of the threshold. Unfortunately, the smallest XP gain we can get is 10, so our options are kill a meatbag, a sheep, or sell an old coin to Vasily. Ha! We coincidentally yoinked 2 coins from Khorinis earlier. Let's use one of those.
I've got an old coin here.
Ah, damn. 2 gold coins for every old coin you can bring me.
This is where things get tedious. At least for me. To squeeze out as much gold as possible, we need to stay a mercenary for as long as we can, and stick to the loop. Gain over 200 XP in one go, or just barely over 200 in smaller chunks. Usually 210. Then go back to Onar, get paid.
Pay me my wages.
60 gold pieces.
Sleep until the next day, rinse and repeat. Remember free teleports plugin I mentioned earlier? Time to put it to good use. We're gonna set a waypoint right in front of Onar's wife's bed. We're gonna use this bed a lot. Poor Maria must find another one.
Get out of my bed!
Behind the scenes, I'm going to follow some rules how I use the free teleports plugin, so it doesn't feel like a blatant cheat. First, I'll only teleport between places I can reach on foot without taking any damage. Second, I only use it outside of combat. I mean, this is just FYI. It's not like you're gonna see the raw uncut footage and be able to verify that. Trust my words or not. Also, from now on, when you see a transition like this, it means somewhere between the scenes I went back to Onar to get paid, but didn't bother to show. It would be just boring. Uh-oh, Torlov now wants to immediately give us that other quest we must do in one day or we lose the pay, and we need to learn pickpocketing first. I bet I'm gonna bump into him accidentally a lot. Anyway, bottom line, we've gotta avoid Torlov for a while and dodge our responsibilities. Our third day as mercenary starts with a quick patrol behind the farm, just to touch some grass after spending over 24 hours occupying Onar's wife's bed. As much as I would love to rush into Chapter 3 and speedrun Jarkandar for the ultimate cheese weapon, the Claw of Beliar, there is a problem. We need to pickpocket Diego in the Valley of Mines, and that means we need the pickpocketing skill and 120 dexterity. So yeah, we are stuck in Chapter 2 for a while, according to my napkin math, until around level 30, which also means we'll need to clear almost the entire map with a really weak build.
Fun.
Oh well, at least we finally get to face some enemies, and the honor of first blood goes to...
a wisp.
What am I playing? Morrowind? Why did I randomly pick Wisp for my first kill? Masochism, I suppose. I clearly didn't have a solid plan for the day because next we go back to the farm and beg Tekla for a free welcome to the mercenaries stew.
Here, your grub.
A stew I'm probably just going to sell for pennies, because max gold. Or masochism. Definitely masochism. We didn't annoy Raoul just by existing.
Will you look at that?
Black troll, no problem. First tell me how to get the hide off the troll.
I don't think I've ever learned skinning from him. Very convenient. Next I remember we never picked our 50 gold coins from Till for setting Bronco straight.
Bronco's back at work.
And finally, I realize if I kill the 3 goblins uncomfortably close to Buster, I'll not only get some peace of mind, but also hit our daily XP target. Buster and his buddy came a little too close to poaching my XP, but in the end I prevailed. 210 XP scored, we can call it a day. A random but productive day indeed. Only a few thousand more to go.
What weapons do you have to offer?
As you may or may not know, if you open any trader's inventory, leave the area and then come back, the trader will have the best weapon they can wield equipped, including goods they normally sell. We're going to use this trick to steal extra weapons for resale. All we have to do is beat the trader up. Some traders will even gain new stock in later chapters, so we'll have to repeat that as often. As far as I know though, no trader got anything new in the chapter 2, so we haven't missed any opportunities yet. This trick could be abused. One could keep selling a valuable weapon, then taking it back, then selling it again, then taking it back, then selling it again, then taking it back. However, we are going to follow a rule that each weapon can only be sold once throughout the entire game. By the way, here I'm using a cheesy tactic to beat any 200 weapon wielding NPC. We just position our opponent against the wall, then follow the loop of preemptively blocking, so that incoming hit gets stopped in the last few frames of the block animation, then performing a counter-strike. This is literally brained and you cannot lose. Yoink and yoink. Next day, I spread some more love to another comrade who made the unfortunate life choice of wielding a two-hander. I couldn't resist the juicy XP. In hindsight though, maybe I made a bad life choice try-harding this game, especially since this fight was a literal death by 1,000 cuts. Oh well, at least we've got an extra 10 learning points to play with. Carefully evading Torlov's judging gaze, we rush to Gan to spend them on a few trophy skills, so we can finally start hunting enemies in our league. You know, wolves, bloodflies. I tried to skip most of the wildlife on the way to reach our guy ASAP, but one pesky scavenger just wouldn't stop pestering me. So 6 feet under he goes. Or she? It? Since Gan relocates here after we speak to him the first time, we'd better evacuate this board too, just to avoid a future mess. We got roughed up pretty badly, so let's take a recovery nap until midnight. That should also make sure the blood flies around the farm don't crash into the farms behind the scenes. Poor Gan stays up all night until we meet him.
100 gold coins for your expertise on gutting animals.
Thanks. Now you're talking.
Oh, we'll talk about that gold in the near future. Having acquired all the new knowledge, we can finally deal with the aforementioned bloodflies. and conveniently, a scavenger, a boar and those 2 insects add up exactly to 210, so we can call it a day. The next day of our glorious adventure, we tackle a task truly worthy of a mercenary, dealing with Pepe's wolves.
What if I killed those wolves?
A quest you probably always finish before even joining a guild. Suddenly a random villainous idea popped into my head. Why not spare one wolf temporarily and lure toward Pepe to spook the sheep nearby? They'd scatter and I could slaughter them with impunity, safely out of Pepe's prying sight. Then I kill the wolf with Pepe by my side.
Well done!
And make a personal discovery. He's become friendly. I didn't know such a mechanic. There is a cheesy way to beat any friendly NPC without getting fined, so very convenient discovery indeed. I'll show it in like 2 minutes. For now though, I'll leave him and his closest sheep in peace. The sheep not so close to Pepe, however, are perfect for topping up our daily XP target. And with that, there is no turning back. We've officially become the ultimate menace of Khorinis. Anyway, the following day we bring the happy news to Pepe about our successful extermination of wolves.
I've done in the wolves.
Damn Bulko.
What did you say about Bulko?
But the matter isn't quite over. There is still more XP to squeeze out if we dig into Bulko's negligence. Step 1. Snitch Bulko out to Onar.
Thanks to Bulko, you now have a few sheep less.
Step 2. Hurt Silvio's ego by giving a warm welcome to the colony to 2 of his cronies. Fester already got one. Bulko and Rod have script armor and going bullet on them would cost us future XP opportunities. Sentenza's too tanky to bother, so Raoul it is. Well, imagine what it would look like against Sentenza. And with Raoul down, dreaming about defeating a black troll or something, apparently no one around cares if we claim a sheep right in front of the kitchen. Step 3. Taunt Silvio.
It has come to my attention that you have it in for my boys.
Which immediately prompts Bulko to kindly suggest our imminent departure from the farm.
I think the best thing would be if you didn't show your face on the farm anymore.
And with that we unlock a new dialogue option to confront Bulko about Pepe. It gives chapter dependent XP, so we'll save it for later. And to wrap up the whole Pepe nonsense, since we're besties we can just keep punching him, calm him down with a quick chat, and repeat until he drops. And he doesn't even mind.
Watch it.
Also, one notice if a few sheep around him mysteriously go missing. If my math is right, and it definitely is thanks to my powers of a script, we need 60 more XP to wrap up the day. A boar on the way to Khorinis will do. Just need to pull him away from his boar body first. And with that, we can officially wrap up the day and the first episode. We haven't made huge progress yet, mostly because I spent half the time setting things up and rambling. So far we've made 590 coins from Onar and taken out a few regular sheep. No Betsy's purchased yet. Those are rookie numbers. We'll ramp them up fast next time, as our rampage across Khorinis continues. Thanks for watching and hopefully see you later.